Hey, Jason.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Just trying to get over this cold and snow we've been having here. Oh, it hasn't stopped snowing since December 15th. Yeah, we're like in the southeast section of West Virginia, right in the Appalachian Mountains.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'd say from the time I relocated here, we've gotten probably a little over 6 feet of snow if you count in all the accumulation that we had.
That's a lot of snow.
That's a whole lot of snow. I haven't seen this much snow since 1967 and 1979 in Chicago.
Wow. Brian
Okay.
Cade with me here. You're a photographer and you're not taking no photography of the snow?
I've taken a little bit. Tried to get out there, other than trying to, shovel our way out. I have gotten out and gotten a few pictures. Not as much as I wanted to.
Now, you're located somewhere that, doesn't have too much snow, but you said there's like 6 feet of snow right now that accumulated throughout the whole winter system.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. We're more or less on a higher elevation. We're about 3,300 feet up in elevation, and like I said, December 15th is when we got like 3 feet of snow, and it hasn't stopped snowing ever since.
Now, you've been taking a lot of photography from all these years, and what are you doing right now? Are you still taking a lot of photos?
Yeah, actually, I was asked that quite a lot from a lot of my peers and some other magazines about whether or not I was going to outdo myself for 2010, because apparently, to everyone else, I, really did a number in 2009. I do plan on shooting the Rock on the Range shows at 2 dates, May 22nd, 23rd in Ohio, and I plan on catching the Mayhem Tour when it comes through. Outside of that, I'm more or less getting right back into my roots, how I got started into photography, and going to start doing a lot of promotional and portrait photography, all music related, of course.
Where does your stuff go?
Well, I'll tell you something, Jason. I'll let you know I'm a photographer for Mune magazine. It's out of California. I've been with them for quite a while. I really enjoy, working with them. They're really great people.
And do you go on tours with bands sometimes?
Well, no, not necessarily. I usually try to either catch a band as they come into town, or a lot of times I have been known to hit the road and catch, several bands, on their tours in different cities. I've shot from Chicago to Atlanta, Nashville, Knoxville, Louisville, and everything in between.
Now, in this economy, does it pay to do this, or do you do it for joy, fun of it?
The thing is, you do have to know how to be a business person if you're going to be a music photographer. If you don't have a business sense, going into this, you're going to be very, very disappointed. So the whole idea about getting paid for what we do, it's a plus. A lot of aspiring photographers want, to do the big shows, but at the same time, you got to pay your dues before you do make it to the big show. So, in way of being paid, financially, the money may not be there, like right away shooting a lot of the smaller shows, but with a lot of hard work, you can be able to learn the business side and be able to negotiate, what you want as a photographer.
Megadeth, Slayer,
Yeah.
all those great bands, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. Now, how's it, going into photo pits for this stuff? These are big bands.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, I didn't really, let me take that back. Let me rephrase this. Back when I did my very first concert, was back in Chicago, 1995. I shot Alligator recording artist Luther Allison on his U.S. comeback tour. And a fellow photographer by the name of Eugene Kimmons, who photographed for Alligator Records, invited me. Basically, I would ask Eugene about how to, get into the music scene. And like I said before, it's, you got to pay your dues as you go. I mean, you got to do a lot of little things before you get to the big show. But Eugene took a chance with me, got my first chance to shoot a major act, and actually I haven't, had to look back ever since. It's all been going forward. Essentially, the images I have done along the way, I would like to think that my work speaks for itself, for what I do and everything. But I got a break in 1995, and it's been going strong ever since.
Now, what's your website for the people listening right now?
Oh, okay. My website is basically briancadephoto.com. That's BrianCadephoto.com.
And there you can see all the excellent photos, I presume, the whole collection?
Oh, yeah. Basically, the whole bulk of my work is located on my website. I tend to, I have a MySpace and a Facebook account. I tend to put samples of what I have done on these two pages, but the bulk of my work can be seen on the website.
Now, let's say, going back to the photo pit,
Yep.
what's the worst experience you ever seen in a photo pit with a band?
Oh,
I'm sure there is some.
I think so far I would have to say, and this is, it comes with the territory. You get the crowd surfers, coming overhead, and they fall into the pit. So, you're actually watching, to make sure no one falls on top of you. That's actually the worst I've ever seen is photographers having someone just surf across the crowd and just fall on top of someone. We're constantly, cradling our equipment in case something like that happens. But there is one other thing, too. I was shooting a show in Chicago back in 1998 when I used to shoot for CBS Broadcasting up in Chicago. And the station flew me back to Chicago to cover John Anderson and Face Hill there in Chicago. And the tour manager decided he was going to take a shortcut through the meet and greets area that they had set up for after the show. Well, as I was securing my equipment, this gentleman all of a sudden tried to make his way between me and some folks that were behind me talking, and he ran into me and knocked me down and busted my camera. So needless to say, I was in Chicago for 3 days because I don't know for the life of me why I did not bring an extra body. I always have an extra body with me, but I didn't have an extra body with me, and I didn't get to shoot.
Well, basically in the photo pit and sometimes backstage, it can get really rough.
Oh yeah, sure. You'll have not only you get people that get a little too excited after they've had a little bit too much to drink. That's at any show you go to. Well, what's funny, Jason, too, I just saw something else. If you don't mind me throwing this in there, too.
Sure.
I was shooting Devil Driver up in Newport, Kentucky, and I didn't realize where I was shooting that the mosh pit was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Needless to say, I was knocked around like a little pinball, and it busted my main lens. But I had a spare lens with me, and I was able to finish the show.
And what you're saying, in another word, is it's an expensive hobby when it starts happening like that.
Well, it can be expensive, but like I said, if you're going in, you're getting paid to do a job, it comes with the territory. It's just, just part of the trade. It's just one of those things. If I was going to be, overprotective or anything like that, I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
In backstage photos?
Oh, sure. I've met people from heavy metal to country music to jazz to blues music, you name it.
Let's say what you listen to right now in your car. What do you like?
Well, see, that's where, the variation, comes in with my taste in music. See, as a concert photographer, now think about myself, you have to love all music to be able to do this too. I really don't want people to pin me down as like a rock and roll photographer. That at the same time, I mean, I listen to everything from classical, jazz, blues, metal, punk, you name it. I really, really don't have a favorite.
Did you ever shoot video also, or is it strictly camera?
Strictly camera. I have shot no video whatsoever.
Let's say, what's your best memory of a concert? Like, I'm sure you're a fan of Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. How close did you get to those guys?
Let's see. I got as far as Iron Maiden. I was in the pit, and I was backstage, talking to them backstage too, which was really hilarious. Because when we had gone backstage to meet the band, they back in the day when I used to drink beer, they had all these tubs of beer all over the place. So me and a couple of my friends, we kind of looked at each other and we grabbed a few beers, and next thing you know, everyone starts grabbing a beer. Next thing you know, all the beer is gone. Security guy comes up, takes a look around, calls into his radio that the beer was gone. 10 minutes later, we found out that Bruce Dickinson and Steve Harris had decided to go back to the hotel
because there was no more beer.
There was no more beer. Yeah, we started a trend, I guess, in the backstage area.
For drinking all the band's beer.
For drinking all the beer, yeah. That's like back in the day. They had, what is that? Bud, I guess Budweiser. There was some Budweiser in the tubs. Well, as far as I remember, we're talking probably about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't drink now. I don't. Basically, when I do shoot a show, what I do drink is water, and my preferred drink on a regular basis is coffee. Coffee.
To get that photo going good. To wake you up. Do you ever do sports?
No, Jason. I've never shot any sports. Like I said, I've done portrait work, I've done model work, and I've done the concert photography.
Now, for a website design, is that your own design, or is it somebody that does it for you?
That was a gentleman out of North Carolina. Brandon Walt was his name. He basically designed that page for me. When it comes to web design, I'm going to have to plead ignorance on that. I basically told Brandon, have a go at it and do what you do, and he got me up a really good website.
And who's the lovely girl on the side?
That right there, I can't recall her name, but there is a funny story behind her. She was actually fun to work with in the studio. Sherry, that's it.
And is she a professional model?
She was an aspiring model. She wanted to break into the business. She needed some headshots done, 3/4 length shots done and stuff, and I obliged her, booked the studio in Chicago, and we got her in there. We got her pictures, and I was happy with the shoot. She was happy with the shoot, and everything went very well.
You're going to be really busy in 2010?
As far as the big concert tours, yes. I'm looking to shoot Rock on the Range in Ohio, and I plan to catch Rockstar Mayhem Fest on one of the legs of the tour when it gets closer to the East Coast. Excellent
stuff. Well, Brian, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and look forward to seeing your future
Jason.
work.
May I inject one last thing, please?
Please.
For the aspiring photographer out there that wants to be out there in the pit doing what myself and some of my other fellow photographers do for a living, educate yourself on the business aspect of it. It's just not about pushing a shutter. Get yourself into a school. Study photography. I'm self-taught, but in this day and age, to get yourself a degree in photography is a plus. And also, lastly, don't ever just give your work away for free. You have to understand, when a band plays a venue, they get paid, the studio gets paid for recording, the design people get paid for designing. We as photographers should get paid for our work as well. Oh, and also, any aspiring photographers should also look into the ASMP. go to asmp.org. It's called the American Society of Media Photographers. They have been the advocates for photographers since 1940.
Awesome. You know your stuff.
Like I said, Jason, I'm self-taught in the business side and also the creative side.
Well, it seems your career is doing awesome, and it's going to do way bigger.
I sure appreciate that. I really do.